Hello everyone. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Chris. This is Alexander the Great Part 3, Epic History TV. I've had quite a few drinks. If you've been watching the other part of the series, you know I have been enjoying this. And I've been enjoying it with beer. With hard sodas, which tastes really good. And then the alcohol hits you. And you're like, oh yeah, that's right. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into this. Oh, that felt good. We're going to jump right in this part 3. There's one more part, which would be part 4. And then that's it for the Alexander the Great series. It's been... Each video so far, the first 2 have been really good. I almost wish they were a bit longer, though. But it's been good. So let's go ahead and jump into the video and... let's have a good time. Let's have a good time. I don't know what I said. Video time.
In 334 BC, Alexander, 21-year-old ruler of the small Greek kingdom of Macedonia, led an invasion of the vast Persian Empire. It seemed impossible odds. But thanks to Greek military dominance and Alexander's fearless leadership, he won 2 great battles against the Persians.
Now, I know they said that Macedonia was, in the first video, they were more Hicks. Did Macedonia always have a decent army? They just never had a great leader? Or were they just widely considered whatever? Like, and no one really knows until Alexander came around. Curious.
At the river Granicus and at Issus. Having subdued Persian lands west of the Euphrates River, he now headed east into the empire's heartlands, seeking a final showdown with the Persian king, Darius III. Receiving news that a great Persian army led by Darius
I'm going to guess he keeps ducking him.
had assembled at Gaugamela, near modern Mosul in Iraq. He made straight for it. This was Darius's last chance to stop Alexander, and Alexander's chance to smash Persian power once and for all.
Gotta sneeze. Woo, sorry. I had to sneeze. Wow.
Darius had chosen to fight on open ground, where his advantage in numbers would be more telling. His soldiers had also worked hard to clear and flatten the terrain to make it suitable for Persian war chariots. By modern estimates, the Persian army was between 50 and 80,000 strong, and made up of...
Even for this time, that's a lot. So I know back then that had, and well, that was a lot, but then again, Persian territory, that was a big area. So you could probably force those people into fighting for you. Here's a question. Was the Persian Empire, was it... I know you get it by conquering, but were the people happy with the leader? I don't know what to call him. The president of the Persian Empire, whatever you want to call him, the dictator, or whatever. Were they happy with him? With them, whoever it was? Or was it just kind of like, you know, life goes on and not a whole lot we can do? I'm sure there was some rebellion here and there, but just curious.
Contingents from across the empire. Infantry from Syria and Babylonia. Cavalry from Armenia, India, and Central Asia. Up to 200 scythed chariots. Even a handful of war elephants.
No, that's awesome.
Alexander's army was smaller, and may have been outnumbered by as much as 2 to 1.
Of course it was.
He deployed his units in their usual formation. On the left flank, Thracian and Thessalian cavalry, commanded by Parmenion. In the centre, the Macedonian veterans of the phalanx, each armed with their 18-foot sarissa pike. On the right flank, Alexander with his elite cavalry, the companions, and his best infantry, the hypaspists. These were the units with which Alexander planned to launch his main attack. Greek hoplites formed a second line and supported both wings, which were angled back to guard against encirclement by the Persians. The battle began when Alexander led his wing out to the right, a move that took the Persians by surprise. Could Alexander really be trying to encircle their huge army? The Persians mirrored his movement, taking troops away from their centre to outflank Alexander and prevent him leaving the area they'd cleared for the Persian chariots.
What, did he hit the center then?
But Alexander's unusual maneuver was a trap to entice the Persians to weaken their centre.
Yep.
When he saw that it had worked, he ordered his Greek cavalry to charge, to keep the Persians fixed in position. A giant cavalry battle developed on the right wing. Darius, meanwhile, judging this to be the decisive moment, unleashed his chariots. But expert
I apologize, but this is the first time I've seen chariots in any of the videos that I've watched. This is the first time that chariots have ever been used. So this is pretty cool.
Prianes javelin throwers took out horses and crews, while the Greek infantry opened lanes, allowing the chariots to pass harmlessly through. Now Alexander led his companion cavalry and parts of the Macedonian phalanx in a headlong charge straight at the weakened Persians.
Sorry. The chariots, they had those little things on the wheels. So was their main defense to kind of get close enough to you to kind of hit you with those? Because if the Macedonians or Greeks or whatever just made a path and they rode through harmlessly, they didn't have any people on the chariots like firing arrows or anything like that, did they? Was their goal just to either run you over or to get you close enough to hit you with those little, they called them, I'll just call them spears on the wheels? Was that the main goal of those? Because they could, I mean, you could do some damage with them, but if you know they're coming, you just move out of the way. So, comment?
Center, fighting his way towards Darius himself. The sudden ferocity of Alexander's assault threw the Persians into panic. The center of the army broke and ran, King Darius himself leading the rout. But Alexander's left wing was in serious trouble. Parmenion, facing a huge onslaught by Persian cavalry, was virtually surrounded. Indian and Scythian horsemen had even ridden through a gap in the Greek line. But rather than wheeling and attacking the Greeks from behind, they'd carried straight on to loot their camp. Parmenion sent a desperate appeal to Alexander for help. The king abandoned his pursuit of Darius, regrouped, and charged the Persian right wing. It was the hardest and bloodiest fighting of the battle, claiming the lives of 60 of Alexander's companions. Finally, as news of Darius's flight spread across the battlefield, the last Persian horseman turned and fled. The Battle of Gaugamela was a stunning and complete victory for Alexander. According to ancient sources, he lost just a few hundred men, while the Persians lost thousands. Alexander had routed Darius's great army, and now the road to Babylon, the empire's main capital, lay open. The Macedonian king entered the great city in triumph, recognized by Persian officials as its new rightful ruler. So too at the city of Susa, where Alexander ceremonially took his seat upon the royal throne of Persia. In the Zagros Mountains, at a pass known as the Persian Gates, a courageous Persian force held up Alexander's army for a month. The Greeks eventually found a mountain path that bypassed their position, allowing them to encircle and wipe out the defenders. In early 330 BC, Alexander reached Persepolis, the empire's ceremonial capital. Alexander wanted to appear as a liberator to the Persians, as a legitimate successor to King Darius. But now he ordered Persepolis to be pillaged and burnt. Retribution for the Persian invasion of Greece and the burning of Athens' sacred temples in 480 BC.
Hi. We are Woodger.
Man!
Sorry, I don't know what that was about.
Alexander now headed north into Media.
It was 46 BC. Wow. Wow. So long ago. Wow.
Where Darius had taken refuge in the royal city of Ecbatana. Alexander was determined to capture Darius, but the fugitive king fled east, in the hope of raising a new army in the provinces of Parthia, Bactria, and Sogdia.
I'm sitting here watching this Persian king flee, and there's a part of me that kind of links him as he's like George Washington, and Alexander the Great's like England, or the British, whatever you want to say. And I keep looking at him like, just get him. Just get this guy, Alexander. Come on, just get him. And there's another part of me that looks at that guy and I'm like, keep running, man. Just keep doing what you got to do. Hit and run and run and run. I don't know whose side I'm on here.
It was not to be. As Alexander closed in, the Persian king was murdered by one of his own governors, Bessus, who then...
I would just like to say now that was a terrible analogy, because that did not happen to George Washington.
...proclaimed himself the empire's new ruler. Alexander gave orders for Darius to be buried in the royal tombs of Persepolis, alongside his ancestors. Then...
That's a very cool thing, man. That is extremely cool of him to have done that. He probably wanted to kill him himself, but the fact that he was probably taken out, he might have thought of his father, if he had nothing to do with it. He might have thought of his father, and maybe it was just kind of like a crappy way to have gone out. But that's a very cool thing. I didn't know anything about this. I didn't realize that he would have done that. But that's a very cool thing. I want to play that again just because I want to make sure that I heard it absolutely correctly. I apologize. But I really want to soak
orders
that
for
in.
Darius to be buried in the royal tombs of Persepolis, alongside his ancestors.
That's very cool.
Then he paused to organize his vast new empire.
That's very cool.
Alexander appointed viceroys to rule the provinces on his behalf, keeping several Persians who had sworn loyalty in their posts. Then he resumed his march east, his goal to find and kill the usurper Bessus, subjugate the empire's eastern provinces, and reach the far edge of the world. Research and artwork for this video.
Do you think he appreciated just how big the world was? I mean, remove the Western Hemisphere, right? Remove America, Canada, all the way down to South America. Remove all of that. I don't think he appreciated just how big Europe, Africa, Asia, Russia, China, Japan. I don't think he just truly appreciated just what he was getting himself into. But I'll say, man, he was not scared at all. This guy charged forward. And I'll say, you look through history, there are a lot of people who just kept going. I just did the Napoleon series. Napoleon was a charge guy. Ulysses S. Grant, American Civil War, charge, although he did get hunkered down a lot in sieges. Yeah, some of the people who attack tend to do best at times. Sometimes they get hung up in charging all the time, that they almost just wear their own people down. I think with all the battles, that's probably what was Napoleon's downfall. And I got a feeling that's probably what his downfall is going to be. I'm running low on beer. This video's over. I'm going to need another one or two for the next video. It's 8:10 p.m. and I'm going to get one more video done tonight and then take a shower, call it a night. I think I've had 5 or 6 beers tonight over the last few hours, so it's okay. I'm 13 years old. I can drink. You believe me, right? Anyways, I'm going to end this video here. I kind of wish these were longer, because I'm really digging the Alexander the Great stuff. Anyone else have any other stuff? Oh, Genghis Khan. Or Genghis Khan. I don't know how I'm supposed to say it, okay? I apologize. I'm an American and I'm white, so I give up. That'd probably be a good one. Biography channel seems to have some good ones. I have a dog who's about to fall off the bed, so she's sound asleep and she is sliding forward. I'm gonna end this now and catch her before she does. Whatever I normally say, because I already